Every morning, you need to mind hack and murder hack your brand.
Exponential growth is exponential.
Look at your calendar and burn it. What is your personal winning resume?
The number one thing that they don't teach in school is to make money. Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneur.
Produce.
I am literally a god.
Spartans!
Business.
Money hacks. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Business Money Hacks. I'm Bridge Stewart.
And I'm Dustin Taylor Hahn. Today we want to talk about bottoming out. You know, really getting down in the sewers.
Getting real
of life.
With, what's happening in society, what's happening with the world. Sometimes there's times where it's like, yeah, reach for the stars. And other times, you got to think about bottoming out.
Yeah.
And this is kind of one of those times.
Yeah, especially now. No one's doing well. No one's doing well. And no one will do well because the stock market, it's down. It's down and it's never coming back up.
No, it's very bad. It's a very bad situation.
Yeah.
But before we get into the nightmare, the living nightmare that we are all in, Dustin, I just want to ask, I'm noticing, have you done something to your hands or something? Did something happen to you?
No, I've poofed them out. I've poofed them. Dr. Hefweiser, my face will almost be done, but there's something wrong with my hands, he said. So they kind of have this like white glove feel.
They're very large. They're very large. Your face, that got large, and so I guess it makes sense to make your hands large too. You're looking like some sort of animated character at this point.
I'm looking more like myself, like I should look.
Okay.
His whole philosophy is changing. So, he'll be changing his name every once in a while. He'll be changing his office location. It's really hard to track him down sometimes. Well, once I do, I'm at his doorstep and I said, Dr. Hefner, I need another one. I need another fix. This isn't the way it's supposed to look. This isn't the way you said it would look. And he puts his hand on my shoulder and he says, come on in. It's okay. It's okay. He makes me feel good. You've noticed the chin has been stretching out.
Yeah.
I kind of have a moon thing going on here. That's the motif.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Your face looks like a crescent moon. You look like the character from Goodnight Moon or something. Mm-hmm. I've never seen a face like that.
And this is kind of the future of humanity is... Well, I figured if I'm going to live on the moon at some point, if we're all going to live on the moon...
I would counter that, we live on Earth. I'm not tattooing the continents onto my face. I'm a little confused, honestly, as to why you've undergone this dramatic... and it is dramatic. It's very dramatic. Change.
I feel bolder. I feel more confident looking like a moon man. It's a bit harder to pick things up with my hands, but when you're on the moon, everything is floating right in front of you. You can just, tap it forward.
It's a look.
It does hurt quite a bit.
Okay.
It's all about transformation, and it's all about adapting. You yourself, You're trying to change the country right now. Bridge, how's the... Bridge, how's the campaign doing?
I don't know. At this point in my presidential run, I just wonder if Americans even want any sort of change in this country. I think they just want to keep to the status quo.
That seems to be the general demeanor.
It's a mess. This whole country, look at the situation we're in. We're sinking. We're a sinking ship in the night. And I'm the only person on this boat that's saying, hey, let's plug the hole and sail for shore. Mm-hmm. And everyone seems to be screaming, no. And I have a plug to put in the ship, and they rip the plug out of my hand and throw it overboard and say, no, I want to burn this ship down. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only real patriot, the only real American there is. The rest just want to sink the ship. Everybody's just trying to sink the ship.
Are they trying to burn it down, or are they trying to sink the ship?
They want to burn and sink. One will fix the other.
Yeah.
But I fired all of my staff. They were traitors. They were conniving behind my back.
Really?
So, yeah, I've had to just do a complete overhaul, just gut my campaign. I've actually hired a new campaign staff out of China. actually.
So you're running for president and your campaign staff are Chinese American citizens?
No,
or?
just Chinese, not Americans. The Chinese, they here's the thing with my campaign. All of my staffers, they were like, "Oh, I need money. Give me more money." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? We're trying to save the ship here, and you're asking for a few bucks? What is going on?" So yeah, I cut them out. Went straight to China. They work for a quarter of the price. I mean, it's almost like the Chinese are like the real patriots of America when you think about it. So, yeah, I think this campaign is actually going to pick up now that I have some real Americans. And when I say Americans, I mean Chinese, trying to get my campaign afloat.
I mean, I've only seen a few clips here and there from the Chinese government, but they all seem so happy.
Yeah.
The country as a whole, they're organized.
Oh, yeah. And the mentality over there. I mean, just salt to the earth, a can-do attitude, a frontier attitude.
Pioneer spirit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Xi Jinping. I mean, that guy, he's like the next George Washington. He's ready to really elevate America.
And whip the citizens into shape.
We're looking at an Abraham Lincoln, I think, with China. Like, China is the next Abraham Lincoln, is what I'm saying. And I think just by tapping into that, we can really transform America by using Chinese labor.
You know, there's nothing wrong in business and I guess in running a country to ask for help. Lend me a hand. We don't know what we're doing.
I mean, the first thing I would do if I became president, I'd immediately walk into the Oval Office, pick up the phone, dial China, and they pick up the phone and I say, "Help, please." And I'm sure China would be a little shocked at first, but then they would smile and nod and be like, "Of course, America, we will help. That's what we're here to do." And I think that would solve most of the problems with this sinking ship that the United States has become, this burning, sinking ship.
It's like it's splitting apart at the seams.
This ship is going down. It's going down. It's like Titanic, but worse. So imagine if the Titanic went down and the water was filled with alligators. Do you realize what kind of a massacre that would be? That's where America is. The gators are circling around the ship of America.
And further use your imagination. Use your imagination even further, and you could see boats, Chinese vessels coming over and saying, "We're here to help."
Basically, imagine a boat that's been lit on fire, is leaking, and filled with children. Because that's what America is right now. It's just a boat filled with children, not sure what to do. They're throwing tantrums while the ship is sinking. Meanwhile, gators are licking their lips. They're like, looks like we got a child feast on our hands here. And the only thing that's going to save us is a gigantic Coast Guard boat filled with Chinese nationals coming over and being like, "You want a helping hand? That's what we do. We're China." So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to make my vice president Chinese. I think my vice president will be Chinese.
I think that might go over well.
Running with a Chinese. I mean, it would be crazy if I ended up, if something happened to me, if somebody tried to kill me in office, because, I mean, my ideas are so outrageous, like, fix the boat, kill him. If I died, then somebody from China would become the president of the United States. That would be pretty nuts, but ultimately what we need.
Is this the first time you've mentioned this idea, like, on the podcast? Or
I didn't realize that China was in such a great state. And so, yeah, I'm on the China train at this point. Sign me up. Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of sinking ships, not to sound negative, but the world economy is a trash heap. You know, we often talk about the stock market goes up, it goes down, you know, but not this time. No. I've been watching the market closely, you know, with a magnifying glass. And when you sit too close to the screen, you go blind. And I am going blind. Separate.
I mean, that might have to do with the surgeries. I mean, it looks like you've removed your eyelids. That might have to do with the going blind, but also staring at a screen. I mean, I notice my eyesight has been hurting too by looking at these screens.
There's no dust on the moon, as they say. So, who needs?
I think there's a lot of dust on the moon.
No,
a lot.
No,
I mean, the moon
there's-
pretty much is covered in dust.
No, it's covered in rocks. Just rocks. Regardless, I've been watching the market very, very closely, and I've gone blind. I'm in shock.
I mean, I've
It's-
never seen something like this before in 1,000 years, 2,000 years. Jesus, if he rose from the grave right now, people would be like, "Oh my God, it's finally happening! It's finally happening!" The resurrection. Jesus rises from the grave, walks into the New York Stock Exchange. What does he see? He's like, maybe I'll come back in another 1,000 years, because not even I can fix this. You know, we talk about apocalypse in the Bible, but this, yowie, I can't fix this. And then he'd go back into his crypt and take another 1,000-year nap or whatever he does.
Well, Jesus was a master at the market.
Oh.
He went into that church that they were gambling, and he was like, "Give me some dice, let it roll." That was
Jesus Christ was setting up hedge funds. BC we're talking about here.
yeah.
People-
The first Wall Street was created in Nazareth.
Nazareth Capital, started by JC himself. But even Jesus Christ, if he came back here, he'd say, whoa, 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 I can't solve this. I'm going to take another nap.
Time to get back in my cave and take a big old schluff.
Yeah, because this is a once-in-a-species event. We're talking biblical here. We're talking end-of-the-world scenario. And we're bottoming out, is what's happening. We're bottoming out.
You're listening to this podcast for advice. I'd say sell all your assets and sell it cheap.
Get rid of it. You gotta get rid of stuff when things go bad. So sell your stuff. Sell it all.
Low-income people, I can't make rent this month. What do? They sell it. They sell their car.
Sell it all. And you know, who are you going to sell it to? I know it's a complicated world out there. It's like, I want somebody who's going to take care of this stuff. Like, I want a good buyer for this stuff. Look, we're willing to buy. We are buying.
You got a home? Mine now.
Here's the thing. We're in the bottom too. We're really sinking here. This isn't good for us. We're doing it as a favor to everybody to buy all this stuff. And, it's ultimately will cut into our bottom line, but we want to help everybody out. So sell us your stuff now, right now, because things aren't going to get better.
Give us all your assets, or something bad's going to happen to you. Something worse will happen to you if you don't give it to us now.
This is the best it's going to be. Sell everything. If things aren't going to get better, nothing's going to appreciate in value, so give it to us.
Somebody unplugged the entire ocean. All the ships are sinking. They're all going to be on fire soon. And we're here. We're here wearing our cloaks, our white cloak of generosity.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Justin, you were saying the thing about the ocean is unplugged. We're sinking in the ocean. These gators, they absolutely know the ocean's about to go away. And so they just want one last meal. Their final meal will be the children on board the USS US. And so they're ready to feed. And if a gator approaches you and is like, finally, my last meal, what are you going to be able to give that gator? You got to give that gator something, or else it's going to eat you. And I'm not saying we're gators.
We're gator handlers. Trust us with your home, the home that your grandmother lives in.
We'll keep the gators off you. We'll keep the gators off Grandma. You don't want the gators on Grandma. Trust me on that. These gators, they like Grandma a lot, and you're not going to want to see what happens to Grandma after these gators are done with her.
Go to businessmoneyhacks@gmail.com. All you got to do is attach your house deed to the email. Your house is ours now.
And what do bears do? What do bears do when they're about to hibernate? They hold on one second. I'm going to close my window. There's a man.
There's a man outside Bridge's window. Bridge, are you okay? Who was that man?
He was trying to get in. He was one of the gators. He was wearing a gator mask. This has sort of picked up momentum, this whole gator movement.
So there's going to be men wearing gator masks trying to kick you out of your own home. And we'll be
dressed in gator handler outfits. But, I mean, this is a totally separate analogy that I'm going to be using here. So what do bears do when they're about to hibernate? They clean out the den. Mm-hmm. They want a nice clean den before they go to their long sleep, which is what we're about to do. We're approaching the long winter right now, and we need to clean out the den, make space for a good sleep.
Sell us your assets, all of them, and take a really long nap. And when you wake up, everything will be fixed.
And just sort of to combine these analogies, imagine a giant boat filled with bears. They need to sleep because winter's coming, so they give all of their items inside of their cabins to the gator handlers who are on board the boat as well. They give all of the bears' items to the gators so that the gators don't attack the bears while they're hibernating in their cabin on the boat.
And we're the gator handlers, but we're also sending the Chinese boatmen.
The Chinese troops. Because the U.S. military, they can't handle this. Only the Chinese military can handle this.
Once you wake up from your long sleep after selling all of your assets to the gator handlers so the gators can't chomp it up and do their gator rolls, China will come down.
And I mean, this is part of my campaign as well. I'm thinking of replacing the U.S. military with the Chinese military.
I think that's very, very smart, Bridge. That's very, very smart.
Exactly. What's going to happen is the boat's sinking, time to hibernate, but you let the Chinese arrive with their boat, take all the sleeping bears into their boat, and drive them safely to shore. This is what we need to do as a country. We need to take our hands off the wheel, turn to the right and say, China, take the wheel, please. And they will drive us ashore.
They'll sail us to a new future, to the moon, where we'll all be moon men, and we'll live in harmony without dust in our eyes.
You know, this might seem kind of like a nuts analogy, but I think if you really follow business and entrepreneurs in 2020, this doesn't seem that out of control.
We're like Nostradamus telling you what's going to happen in the next
3 weeks. I think about 3 weeks. Again, if you watch the markets closely enough, this is going to seem very reasonable.
You'll go blind.
Blind with knowledge. Blind with knowledge in flames. Because flames can blind you.
Flames will blind you.
Trust me, I've definitely had a few fires at my house. And some of my staff that have emerged from those fires, they definitely have trouble seeing.
Email businessmoneyhacks at gmail.com.
Overall, what we're saying is that we're in a big boat and the ocean is about to disappear, but before the ocean disappears, it's surrounded by alligators, which is filled with a bunch of essentially child bears. And the only way to help these child bears is to get a Chinese boat over that will take us to land. But ultimately, the crocodiles surrounding the alligators are going to want to get on land too, so we need to go to the moon.
Thanks for listening to Business Money Hacks. We really appreciate all of the support that we've been getting in the past.
And make
3
sure to
weeks.
get out and vote. It's very important. It's really important to vote.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that you should be doing with your time, is going out, voting for the first thing that pops into your head, voting twice, voting 3 times. Just vote as much as you can. Voting
just
is
for the first thing that pops in your head. Bridge Stewart, for example.
Or
I'm just saying my name out loud, but maybe you might vote for that name.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And get your kids to vote.
Get grandma and grandpa vote.
And have them vote several times, because the more you vote, the more of a patriot you are.
Well, thanks for tuning in. You can check us out on iTunes,
SoundCloud,
YouTube, Instagram. We're everywhere.